Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she doesn't get to ask me to hate my dad for her? So, my parents divorced when I was 3. My mom was cheating on my dad, and my sister, who was 18 months younger, turned out not to be his. My dad knew she was cheating and he left her just after my sister was born, which is when he found out. He had to fight for a DNA test, and then he had to fight to not be her father. We both know about it. Our mom was never shy about saying it. My sister has always been jealous that I have a dad and she doesn't, and I always understood. But around 5 years ago, she started saying I should hate my dad because he abandoned her and didn't step up when she had no other family but our mom and me, and he left her out when all she wanted was to feel included. I told her my dad was an amazing dad to me, and I could never hate him. Ever since, we have had a pretty horrible relationship, that is volatile enough that I moved mostly with my dad. So, I only see her and my mom occasionally now, but she is still pissed and wants me to cut out my dad for not wanting her. Since I turned 18 in November, I haven't seen them at all, and she has started saying I'm siding with an abusive piece of crap, a horrible person and father, who would leave a child worse off because the chick he was with banged another guy to make the baby. She said as my dad, he should have loved her through me, and that I owe it to her to stand up for that. I told her again that I won't hate my dad for her when he has been a good dad to me. She called me names. I told her to learn how to accept things, and go after mom for her bio father if she wants to find out, and maybe blame her, since she's the one who cheated and created the whole mess. Am I the a-hole? I feel bad because I know this has hurt my sister her whole life. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, why doesn't she hate your mom? At the end of the day, it was not your dad who created this whole situation. She doesn't hate her mom because her mom is the only one she has. OP, you're not the a-hole, but be gentle with your sister, and advocate for her with your mom to get therapy. Not the a-hole. Your sister has a mom problem, not a dad or sister problem. The problem is, she's only got the mom, so she's putting her on a pedestal because of her needs in all likelihood. Sets you up for a miserable future too, sadly. Sister needs counseling. Not the a-hole. You're right, your sister needs to be mad at your mother. Your father was well within his rights to not want to raise another man's baby. It sucks that your mother has warped your sister's thinking to such a degree, but why should you hate a man that been nothing but good to you? Your sister needs professional help to move past this. It's an unhealthy obsession she has. Imagine being so jealous of someone, that if you can't have it, they can't have it either. This is sick, and mom is 100% to blame. Not the a-hole. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents they only have one daughter and she is 6 feet in the ground? This all started when I was 12 years old and my younger sister was 10. Let's call her Abby. Well, Abby started to get sick and no one in the family knew what was going on. I started to be dropped off at my grandparents' as they went to different doctors. I'm not going to go into her illness, but when the doctors figured it out, it was bad. So, a lot of time was devoted to my sister. When I was 14 it got worse, and I started to be left at my grandparents' for longer amounts of time. It started with just staying the weekend, and then maybe the whole week. I would bring it up, and they told me that they have to focus on Abby. Soon I was staying there for months. By the time I was 16, I was basically living there full time. I would maybe see them every other month. If I texted them about the whole thing, the same response was always sent: we need to focus on Abby right now. I'm 19 now and Abby has passed away from her illness. Her funeral was 2 weeks ago, and I attended through FaceTime. I got a call today from my parents, and they wanted to meet up and be a family again. I told them that they abandoned one child for another. I am not their child anymore. That they only have one daughter, and she is 6 feet under the ground now. I soon hung up. I've been getting texts calling me an ass, and that I should understand that they needed to focus on Abby and to suck it up basically. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Was it harsh? Yes. Was it deserved? Also, yes. While I can sympathize with dealing with a terminally ill child, they still had another child that needed their love and attention too. A child that was losing her little sister, probably scared, and lonely, and then freaking abandoned for 7 years. Yes, Abby needed them. But you did too, and they failed you miserably. And they failed Abby too, who might have enjoyed a relationship with her sister in the few years she did have to live. And they failed Abby too, who might have enjoyed a relationship with her sister in the few years she did have to live. This is what I keep coming back to. It's unconscionably cruel to keep two siblings from spending time with each other, while one is dying. Not the a-hole. As a parent who had a terminally ill child, I made sure that my other kids still knew that I loved them, and even organized people to sit with my child in hospital while I spent quality time with my other kids. It's hard being a parent knowing that your child is going to die, but you don't ever push away your other kids. I'm so sorry that you were abandoned by your parents, and I'm sending you huge hugs and love right now. You have every right to be angry at them, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, as none of them were in your shoes. Take time to grieve for your sister and your lost relationship, and most importantly, please be kind to yourself. You do matter. This is good advice. Hugs to you, OP. I'm sorry for all you have lost. Not the a-hole. While having a seriously ill child is challenging and will often take priority, it doesn't give your parents license to simply send their other child away and stop parenting them. They abandoned you, and now that your sister has passed away, they want to rug sweep their behavior and play happy family. It's completely understandable that you do not want to have a relationship with them. Therapy may be beneficial for you to process losing your entire immediate family. They need to respect your boundaries. Sorry for your loss and good luck. They're treating her like a book they left on the nightstand. Now, 7 years later, they want to pick it up and go, alright, where did I leave off? You can't do that with people. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for breaking a child's heart for money? Sorry, it's my first time posting because I'm really desperate and need advice. Also, English isn't my first language, so sorry about that too. I'm 23 female, babysitting since 2 years ago for a single mom. She paid me fair for this, and for 1.5 years, I was babysitting 2 times a week for her child, 5, and in the last half year, it was 3 times a week. The father of the girl was never in the picture, and she had multiple babysitters since she was very little. Because her mother works every day like 10 hours or more, she works in a very stressful, but very well-paying job in the finance world. She doesn't see her much. She had like 3 babysitters before me, and now it was only me and another one. At first, she didn't like me, and always cried about everything and threw tantrums. But after months of me comforting her while also setting rules, she started loving me, and I really love her. But her mother gave me more and more to do. First, it was 2 times a week for 4 hours in the afternoon. But since 6 months ago, it was 3 times a week for 6 hours. I'm studying to become a teacher, and I didn't need the extra hours or money, but I needed more time for studying. This semester, my university expected all students to go into schools and experience the real lessons and daily life. My school was very happy with me helping out a few times, and they offered me a job. Whenever a teacher would be ill, which happens nearly every day because it's a big school, I could get a call, and they would ask me if I wanted to take the lesson, but I could also say no. They would pay me €10 for an hour more than my babysitter job. I really hesitated at first, but it would be also better for my future, so I decided to do so. When I told the mother of my babysitted child about it, she screamed at me and cried. She said that since her child now loves me and accepted me, it was heartless and cruel for me to go. And that I'm breaking a young girl's heart only for money, and maybe she will have trust issues because of this. I was shocked and really sad, and I felt guilty. I called my mom to talk about this, and while she agreed that it's better for my future to take the job at the school, she also said that she wouldn't do it because a child is always more important than money. Now I feel like a heartless monster, and don't know if I'm the a-hole for this. I agree that a child is more important than money, but I don't know. It's not my child, and I don't know if this is an a-hole move. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, the mom sounds manipulative. You have to set boundaries and put yourself first here. You have to set up your future. You don't want to be working for this lady forever, right? OP needs to read this. She's being emotionally manipulated into keeping her job as a babysitter. But there is no future in that job. That mom is using her child to prevent OP from leaving. OP, please leave. It's sad for the kid, but it will also be a lesson. Sometimes people come and go in life, and she can still see you occasionally. You're not abandoning her. You are making sure that you have a future. Hey, so yes, I really read a lot of comments and I couldn't see it from the start, but I see now that this is very manipulative behavior from the mother. I really feel for her, because it's often hard as a woman to have a career and a child, and this girl is so sweet, but you all are right. I will take this job and try to enjoy it the most. Thank you all very much for your help. Not the a-hole. Kids grow attached to babysitters, and this mom was attached to your convenience. You're studying to be a teacher, take the teaching job. Mom needs a nanny and to grow up. Exactly. There are plenty of people who do this as a long-term career, but I guess it's cheaper to hire a student babysitter, and then try to manipulate them into staying long-term. Even when you know up front they are training for a different career. Not the a-hole. The mother definitely is. It's really hard being a single working mom, but you cannot blame an innocent bystander. You did your best. It was always going to be a temporary arrangement, either you would graduate or the child would no longer need a sitter. You could always decide to stay in touch with the child if you and the mom both think that's important. I did with a family where I babysat. I still go to birthdays and stay in touch. Congratulations on your new job. Thank you. I will message her that I would love to see my babysitted child a few times a month, but not for paid babysitting, only for spending time together. And thank you. I can't quite be excited for the job yet, but hopefully it will come. Edit. I read a lot of comments, but I can't answer every single of them. First of all, thank you for the bottom of my heart for all the messages. It's very kind of you and I feel not so guilty anymore. So, I will take this school job. Due to COVID, the mom works from home and I wrote her some good nanny and babysitter agency. I will babysit for the next 4 weeks, if it's necessary due to mom being at home, and will slowly talk and adjust the girl to me not being around anymore. I will not work for them past this 4 weeks, but I said that occasionally, like 2 or 3 times in a half year, or something like that, I could visit them both, when they are home together. I asked my mother why she isn't supportive of me, and she said that's because she can empathize with the mother, due to the fact she was a single mother as well, but I didn't have any babysitter though. But she said she was sorry and will try to be supportive. Thank you everyone. And now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my son's former fiancée see him? I have a deceased son named Adam and he passed away 2 months ago. He was only 21 years old and was suffering from a chronic heart condition. He introduced me to his then girlfriend when he was 19, and told me they were expecting a baby and wanted to get engaged. I supported them with all I could, although I still helped with medical expenses. He was working a job /studying /paying bills. He was exhausted but excited to be a dad, and he loved his son more than himself. 3 months after his son was born, Adam's condition got worse. He spent time in and out the hospital. He was in a wheelchair and was too weak to walk, but was aware of what was happening. His fiancée moved back with her parents. After my son requested to see his baby, she declined and didn't allow it. She didn't even visit, just called. I talked to her, and told her Adam was at my home and she should come see him and bring their baby with her. She came, but only to give back the ring, saying this was too much for her and will not live like that. She said she wanted to move on and provide for her son. My son was devastated. Next thing we knew, she flew out of country before we could even consult a lawyer. We knew nothing about where she was and all means of communication were cut. It was hard watching my son sad and missing his son. All he had of his baby were pictures. He was devastated. He was melting like a candle in front of me and I stood there helpless. I got him a medical device because he had trouble breathing on his own and 2 months ago, he was admitted to the hospital. He had late-stage heart failure and was on a vent machine. The doctor was honest with me and said that Adam was too weak for another surgery. I was devastated that I let the family know what was happening, including Adam's friends. Turned out, one of his friends was in contact with Adam's former fiancée on social media, and told her. Next thing I knew she was standing in front of me wanting to see Adam. I was surprised to see her. I politely told her to leave, but she insisted, and she brought mutual friends to try to convince me, but I refused. I got mad. I had to get the security officer involved, and she ended up being told to leave right then. She started yelling at me and told me I had no right. Called me cruel and other names I can't say here. Adam's friends sided with her and were yelling at me too. I felt too much pressure. Adam passed away later that day at 6 p.m. I couldn't take it. I found myself dealing with her and their friends yelling at me again. My brother thought what I did was wrong. The funeral wasn't quiet nor peaceful, as I had to argue with everyone pointing out what I did was cruel. I was carrying my grief along with this. She again stopped me from seeing my grandbaby, as a way to spite me for what I did. I know there has to be something I can do. This is my grandbaby. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, she left him when he needed her the most. She had no right to be there, she wasn't his fiancée anymore. You don't leave someone who you love in hard times. She was cruel for leaving him and not letting him see his son, not you. I'm sorry for your loss. OP, stay strong. Sounds like the baby mama has a heart condition too. It's called not having one. Not the a-hole. She knowingly got into a relationship with someone suffering from a heart condition, a condition which, might I add, you paid the medical bills for, and then abandoned the guy when it got too real, even keeping him away from his son. For all you knew, you were being protective of him, even if your actions were probably also rooted in some spite. I'm very sorry for your loss. I can forgive, deciding that it's more than she can deal with, even if she initially thought she could handle it. Running off with his child and going no contact is a complete a-hole move though. Info. She abandoned him, took their child, and now wants to pretend she cares. However, I do have a question. Did you ask Adam what he wanted? Do you think Adam would want to see her or would find it too distressing at the time? I do think that the person being cruel is the one sending flying monkeys to crap on you when you were the one taking care of him. All he ever talked about was his son. From what I understand, she came without him, so she had no intentions of letting us see the baby. Adam was already unconscious when she came. It was sudden and I didn't expect her to come back. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.